Hello, everybody. Welcome to Profiling Evil Live with Mike King. Thanks for jumping in. Barb Nauman, how you doing? Great to see you. Zelda, hello. Andrea M., great to see you from Texas. I apologize to my mods. I do this more and more, but I wanted to jump on and just say hello and wish you all a good Friday, depending on where you are. A good Friday, not being in the Catholic sense. Just hope you're all doing well. And I wanted to touch on a couple of things that are coming up today. First is to remind you to hit our live at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking with a police officer who incredibly was shot in the face while trying to save a woman in a domestic violence case. This is the podcast we've been running this week. I think you'll enjoy it. And the officer, while he's in the middle of hurricane watch down in the Texas area where he works still, is going to try to jump in and participate in the chat with me. So that will be kind of fun, and it'll be fun to see you all showing up if you get the chance to. Heather 77, hello. Michelle Leonardo, Melody McAtee, thank you. Rochelle Sean, it's great to just see you all. Thanks so much for your support of Profiling Evil. I wanted to take a moment and do a quick live to answer a few questions that I've been getting from you in regard to this latest move that happened yesterday in the Daybell case. And if you didn't catch the news, I'm just going to give you a quick brief on it. We'll hit a few highlights on it, and then get you on to the rest of your day. I'll try to answer some questions if I can. And again, it's just great to see you folks rolling in. We even those of you who are getting ready to close out your day in Europe and around the world. Monica 1975 full in Germany. Great to see you. Here's my appreciation for you. Ich bin Michael König. Guten Tag, guten Abend. And let's see. Let's move forward. Heck, let's get right to this. So I had a few questions from you regarding this latest defense move in the Chad and Lori Daybell case. And 2 days ago on Wednesday of this week, the prosecutor, Rob Wood, sent a note out to Daybell's attorneys, Means and Pryor, and let them know that the state was intending on testing the DNA evidence that they have remaining. This is evidence they collected in the investigation of J.J., Joshua, and Tylee's deaths and their recovery on Chad Daybell's property. Now, the challenge here is that the testing that the state wants to conduct will use up all of the remaining DNA. And the practice and the normal practice when you collect DNA evidence is that you don't test all of it the first time around, that you save enough that additional testing can be done. And the state has decided now that it needs to do additional testing. Now, what has happened in the courts is Means immediately filed a motion yesterday with the court asking the judge to block the prosecution's efforts to do this additional testing. They're requesting that a hearing before the state needs to happen before the state proceeds. In particular, John Pryor, his motion is to, number one, a motion to preserve the remaining DNA samples, a motion for photographic recording of all of the serology samples or any other visual tests that's happening, and a motion to review all of the lab records that the state has as it relates to the case. Now, Pryor specifically says that, quote, Wood notifies my office that additional DNA testing would completely consume the remaining DNA evidence obtained by law enforcement, close quote. He's noting that the move is going to preclude the defense from ever being able to seek independent testing on the data themselves. So to kind of sum this all up, Pryor is asking the court to order the prosecution to halt. He wants them to stop, not pursue any testing on the remaining DNA until the defense can obtain half of the DNA samples for their own testing. Well, that may make it impossible because there may only be enough DNA left for one testing. He's requesting that the state provide every record they have and report and documentation related to the testing that they've already performed. And he's asking that the state be required to allow the defendants, the Daybells, their attorneys, to get a DNA expert who can go directly to any lab and review, copy, photograph, document all of the procedures that have been done. And then to provide to the defense any and all evidence related to DNA testing in the case. Now, as prior submitting this motion, Mark Means is also including a letter where he's complaining to the judge that the state's not provided the number of things that he has asked for. And I think he's kind of tipping his hand a little bit, showing maybe where some additional concern is, because he expresses concern about information that he's seeking from the state in regards to Tammy Daybell's autopsy report. Remember, Chad Daybell's wife that mysteriously died like 9 days before he marries Lori. Now, he complains that the Fremont County prosecutor, quote, has not and will not provide the information, close quote. So a date for the expected and the expedited hearing on the DNA hasn't been set, but I thought you might find it useful to see the motion and some of the information that I dug up from the American Bar Association. So let's just take a quick look at that. Here's the motion that Pryor submitted, and of course it's in behalf of both Chad and Lori Daybell, but here is outlined. He's requesting the information that I talked about, which is to have those DNA samples held while the court can decide whether they should get it, that he be given access to half of the samples, that the court order the state to give them all of the records they have, and that they get photographs of everything. If it's helpful, and I think it will be, I wanted to also include the information from the American Bar Association in regard to DNA evidence. And so that specifically talks about a couple of things that are important and frankly are required. In part 3, the testing of DNA evidence, it just requires that the state follow a standardized checklist. And in that checklist, they keep control of all of the evidence, that they provide the evidence to the defense, that they categorize it, they photograph it. And then it goes down and talks about in the testing itself that portions remain available for future testing. And then this is the real challenge, is that they can't take the final DNA that they have samples of and use it without first letting the defense know that they've gone forward and they're going to use it. And that's the whole crux behind what the defense is arguing in this, and frankly, rightly so. So it's not something that's going to be real problematic. It just needs to happen. Thought you might be interested in having that little piece of information as you look forward to what's going to be the next steps along the way. And make sure you go in and dig up, because you can find the motion online. I'll also post it to the Daybell StoryMap so that you can just review it there rather than having to go and try to find it. Zelda, thanks for that kind super chat. And folks, I hope that you'll take time at 6 p.m. Eastern to join us for the premiere on line of duty injuries. We're going to have a discussion with a police officer who was shot in the face while trying to rescue a woman in a domestic violence situation, and what his recovery has been like. Thanks for your support of Profiling Evil, and I look forward to seeing you all tonight as we jump into that premiere. Have a great afternoon.